In today's video, we're going to be talking about a very important topic for latex care. That is discolored latex. Yes, what to do if your latex gets stained. Dum dum dum. Ready to find out what are the answers that you need to know? Keep watching. So, I know that unfortunately, some of us have encountered what might be like a nightmare situation for owning latex clothing, which is when your latex clothing gets discolored. It can happen to anyone. If it's never happened to you, you definitely want to watch this video, watch it all the way to the end, save this video. And even if it has happened to you before, I'm going to be giving you some really important tips and tricks that are going to help you to save your latex items in the future so you don't have to deal with all these issues in terms of staining, discoloration, and all the little, unfortunate occurrences that tend to happen when we are not caring for our latex properly. So, let's just get into it. Now, guys, if you're curious about latex discoloration, probably one of your first questions, if you've never experienced latex discoloration, is, well, how do I know my latex is discolored? It's very simple. If you're looking at one of your latex pieces and there is some type of stain, there's some type of coloration, there's some type of mark that was not originally on the piece, and as much as you're wiping, as much as you're rubbing, as much as you're lubricating, that thing is simply not budging, then that means that your latex is discolored. Now, why does that happen? Could happen for a variety of different reasons. I actually purchased an item from Westward Bound. I made a huge purchase from Westward Bound. I think I've been showing you a lot of their pieces week after week. And in that huge haul that I made to Westward Bound, I received a pair of leggings that were in this color, this exact color, pearl sheen pewter, that arrived discolored. Now, they came out the package discolored. I mean, I have a video of myself unboxing it and being pretty shocked that happened because I'd never experienced that with any latex designer ever before, where they, sell, what would you say, faulty pieces. I was really confused by it. I did reach out to the designer to have an exchange made, and I'm not gonna lie, it was somewhat of a complicated process. They did make it a little bit complicated for me, but they did ultimately send me a replacement pair of leggings. So what I would first recommend to you guys, if you are encountering discolored latex straight out of the package, you bought the item, you're looking at it, you're like, oh my God, this is stained. The first thing that you need to do is go back to that designer and tell them immediately that the item is stained. Now, in this exchange that I had with Westward Bound, you guys know, I mean, I save a lot of these items. I don't open them until I'm literally doing the video for you, and I know my filming schedule like weeks in advance. So some of these items, I mean, the box is still sitting there in my room. And by the time that I opened it, it had been maybe a couple weeks since I'd received it. So when I was like, hey, I need an exchange, initially they told me, no, we're not gonna help you. It's, you need to review all of our items within 24 hours of receiving it, which is, I mean, that's a crazy deadline. But if you wanna order from Westward Bound, know that there's, first of all, a likelihood that you may get discolored items. And secondly, that if you want to prevent having to hold on to those items, you need to check every single item that you receive from them within 24 hours of receiving it. So, first step, if you buy discolored latex, get a replacement, take documentation, take lots of photos, do not wear the item, don't make it appear as if, even if you just wore it to try it on and that's when you discovered that it was stained, don't take pictures while you are wearing the item. Take pictures of it in the packaging so it's very clear. Listen, this was a fault. I wasn't expecting this. This was a manufacturer's fault. Can you please provide me with an exchange? That's number one. But bear in mind, in my example with Westward Bound, they did send it, but they made it very clear this is not something that we would ever do for you ever again. This is our terms of service. This is what you can expect in the future. So, things to be aware of. Now, number two, if you have a piece of latex clothing that you've had for a while, you know, you've been wearing it, loving it for a while, it's been sitting in your closet for a while, and now you're concerned about, is this thing gonna get discolored? Oh my God, am I storing it properly? Let's talk about the ways that you could better store your latex so you're no longer having to worry about these issues with discoloration. So in terms of latex storage, what you'll find a lot of times when items are shipped to you is that they're usually covered in powder, whether it be baby powder, 100% talc, or cornstarch. You can definitely powder your items, and if you want to do that for storage, all you have to do is take like a big garbage bag, put some baby powder, cornstarch, or talc in there, and dump your latex items in, clean, remember, just wash, clean, dry, by the way, don't put wet items in with powder, it's gonna be gross. Dry, clean latex items into a garbage bag with whatever powder you're coating it with, shake it up, and now those items are perfectly stored, ready to go. If you don't want to do it that way, then obviously you can, wash the items clean and just apply a couple drops of dressing aid, like seriously, the slightest amount of drops of dressing aid. No need for greasy latex when you just washed it. And use that to store your items, safely. Now, here's the thing. Even though I'm saying that, yes, this is the safe way to store your items, that's not a guarantee against any of those items potentially being discolored. When we're talking about how you prevent discoloration in latex with storage, when you're storing your items, there's two very important things that you need to remember. So pay attention. Firstly, you want to make sure that you're keeping colors separate. So think about it like you're doing your laundry. Actually, even when you're doing your laundry, you might mix colors with other colors. You might mix darks with other darks. No, you're not doing that with your latex, okay? There are certain colors that can be placed next to each other and nothing's gonna happen. Like for instance, translucent smoky black and black. I mean, I have so many things that have black that are like a combo of both of those two colors. They're perfectly fine, nothing bad happens, it's fine. That being said, there's no way to know until the discoloration's already happened whether or not a particular sheeting color is guaranteed to get discolored if you're not keeping it separate from other colors, other materials, other leather, other types of clothes, other things that can touch and potentially get its dyes or whatever into the latex. Nothing should be touching those pieces. And I want to say another note for you guys about this particular point. Write this down. This is going to be very important when you are purchasing lighter colored latex. So if you like white latex, I know that's gotten really trendy and more fashionable these days. If you like white latex, if you like, colors like mannequin, that really nude, that light nude flesh tone color, Super Tex Light Brown, a lot of people really love that for fashion. That's a color that can easily get discolored. Baby pink, baby blue, like when we're talking about more creamy pastel colors, yes, they will more than likely get discolored if you are not storing them properly. Even colors like this, even as I said, I received a pair of leggings that was discolored. So even something like this, pearl sheen pewter, which is a rather dark color, it looks like gunmetal. Yes, it can get discolored too if you are not accurately storing and keeping your colors, keeping all the latex colors. And this is true not only for storage, this is also true when you're drying the items. Like if you clean everything and now you're arranging everything on towels or hanging it so it can dry, do not let differing colors touch each other when they're drying, when they're being stored at any time. Okay, now my second tip and trick as it applies to storage and how to keep that latex looking fresh. Okay, and actually I would say this is my second tip and trick as it applies to storage, but I would say that this is kind of going to be probably the biggest tip for this video and maybe where I'll end off this video, because I think that actually this is where most people end up getting discoloration on their latex. So definitely pay attention to this one, guys. All right, so we talked about storage, we talked about, you know, what happens if, I don't know, you know, unforeseen events occur and you just end up with discolored latex. Now let's talk about, you know, and you've probably heard this a number of times, because every time that you purchase a new item, it's always there in the care instructions. There's certain materials which you have to keep away from your latex. I kind of just mentioned this with like leather or heavily dyed fabrics or whatever. Not only do you want to keep that stuff away from your latex, you also want to keep like metal, yes, metal items away from your latex. Now I know that probably sounds crazy because a lot of latex pieces have hardware on them. Like, I mean, I love it. I love like black latex with gold hardware. Oh, I think it looks so sexy. A lot of latex comes with hardware. It's a great look. Yes, but let me tell you something. The colors, and if you try to order something from a designer, like if you try to order a white latex set and get a whole bunch of like tons of hardware put into it, like let's say it's a harness or something like that, they will do it for you on custom request, but they will definitely let you know. And I've had this interaction exactly occur between me and the owner of Serendipity Latex, who I was buying harnesses from that were very heavily embellished. They will tell you, listen, I can do this for you, but you should know, keeping all of this metal in your latex and you're picking a color, it may end up discoloring the latex over time. You'd probably be safer just using black. So here's what you want to bear in mind. I'm not saying you can't have metal accents on your latex. I'm not saying you can't. I mean, a lot of times if you're buying like a suspender belt or a garter belt or, you know, certain things, they're just going to have metal on there somewhere. I mean, you know, the snaps on a button or something. Certain things are just gonna have some metal on there somewhere. If it's a black latex item, then you're fine. You have nothing to worry about. You know, we can't really discolor black. If it's pretty much any other color, because again, I cannot guarantee for you like a full list of what colors get stained versus what colors don't get stained. I know that black doesn't, but everything else is fair game to me. So the only foolproof way to make sure that your latex is not discolored by any metal accessories or jewelry or whatever might be touching your stuff is, first of all, to keep all that metal away from it. So if you notice today, I'm not wearing any rings, I'm not wearing any earrings. I have my necklace on, I never really take it off, but it's not really touching the latex. It kind of just sits in the middle, right? Take all that jewelry off. Do not let it touch your latex. And also, you might have noticed when you purchase latex pieces with hardware, with metal hardware, oftentimes not only the latex itself, like the clothing itself is wrapped, each of the little middle accessories are wrapped in tissue paper. And there's a specific reason for that, love. That is because that little tissue paper barrier prevents the metal from physically touching the latex and over time discoloring it. Which, hey, so again, back to our white latex harness analogy. If you want that latex harness, I mean, nothing should prevent you from getting it. Just do it wiser, do it more educated. Get the harness, but recognize that every single time that you put that harness away, you're gonna have to wrap up each little individual metal piece to ensure that that creamy white latex never gets discolored. I will admit that there are I do have a lot of latex pieces with hardware, some of which are colored pieces, which I'll tell you right now, I am not a stickler. I'm not like that organized, like wrapping up all the little accessories and all my latex items. I don't wrap up all the metal. I store as safely as possible. I store everything in its own individual plastic bags, so that helps. But I don't even apply that trick to myself. And the truth is that most of my latex stays in pretty good condition. Now, that being said, if you want to 100% foolproof your latex, these are the ways to do it. So if you guys have any questions at all about latex care. If you've been enjoying learning about latex care and have more questions or queries or thoughts or whatever, I'd love to hear it. Definitely hit me in the comments and let me know more. And most importantly, guys, I'd also like to remind you, definitely do become VIP members. Upgrade your membership today. All you have to do is tap the join button at the bottom of this video, or go over to inlatex.com. You'll see tons of sexy free videos, photos, lots of amazing gifts and surprises that are literally being released right now as we speak. Don't miss it. If you're curious to shop this or many other hugely discounted items, discounted latex items, all you have to do is head over to InLatex and hit the discounts tab. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's been such a pleasure, and we'll talk soon. Bye.